Alright, so welcome back, guys. It has been a hot minute since I have been not only driving my damn car, but also recording in general. So this is why I personally believe the agency model is still the #1 way to actually get rich, to make your first couple $1,000,000. And especially if you are in your 20s or 30s, it is the perfect beginner white belt business model. In my opinion, I am going to break down why, but obviously a little bit of an update. I am back from traveling. We went to Tampa, Florida, USA, obviously best country in the world, and I went to Dominican in the last couple of weeks. You could tell probably I am sick as well. I caught something while I was there. Very frustrating, but we are officially like actually back to our regularly scheduled videos and programming. It is our first, really nice. It is the 8th of March as I am recording this, and holy hell, it is actually pretty decent. Outside weather-wise, so if I sound muffled or if I cough a little bit in the meantime, that is the main reason why, so catching up phlegm, getting all that stuff out. So anyways, why out of everything, SaaS and e-commerce and even content creation, which technically is not even a business model. So it always baffles me when beginners want to make content, set up tripods, and think they can earn 30 grand a month just coming out of the wheelhouse. It is yeah, you can. But again, all those models come with a level of degree of difficulty that you do not really understand until you are too deep in them. And then it is wow, well, now this is way too difficult. It is like the similar restaurant. It is like when your mom and pop start up a restaurant business and then they say, well, it failed because 99% of a whole bunch of restaurants do. Of course, they give up on entrepreneurship. They say, oh, entrepreneurship is a scam or it is way too difficult for anyone. It is it is difficult, but that is why the model, the boat that you are in, is so damn important. And yes, I am biased. Obviously, I have a whole mentorship. It is where I built most of my wealth, was in a damn agency, right? But I am so even if all those biases were removed, I still fully believe it is the best way to build wealth. Let me tell you something, man. When I was 22 years old, I had no clue what I was doing. I was that guy living paycheck to paycheck, carrying credit card debt, just buying stupid stuff I did not need. I remember looking at my bank account one night and realizing I had $47 to my name and my rent was due in 3 days. That was my wake-up call. That was the moment I knew something had to change. And what did I do? I did not have money for inventory. I did not have money for ads. I did not have money for a website or a developer or any of that stuff. All I had was my laptop, my phone, and a willingness to figure things out. And that is exactly when I stumbled into the agency model. I started reaching out to local businesses, offering to help them get more customers. I did not know what I was doing at first. I was fumbling through cold emails, getting ignored, getting rejected, feeling like a complete idiot, but I kept going because I had no other option. And slowly it started working. I got my first client for $500 a month, then another one for $1,000, then another one for $2,000. Within 6 months, I was making more money than I ever had in my life, and I was working from my bedroom in my parents' house. That is the power of this model. You do not need permission. You do not need a degree. You do not need a big bank account. You just need to be willing to start. So reason number 1, it is very simple. You are selling your time. That is what you sell in the beginning. You are not needing a warehouse. You do not need a physical product. You do not need employees, anything like that. You can literally start this as a solo one-man show, dead simple. That easy, it really genuinely is that simple to get started, and just selling your time, selling your knowledge essentially for a done-for-you way. So that businesses can just essentially hire you as a batteries included option. That could be lead generation, you could be doing SEO work, you could be doing coding, web design, whatever it is that you are selling, that is where this comes in, right? That is where the model specifically comes through on you selling your time as a service, right? And then eventually we can productize, eventually we can scale and hire employees and actually do the formal stuff. But for now, you really genuinely do not need to worry about that. I remember when I first started, I was so overthinking everything. I was like, do I need an LLC? Do I need a business bank account? Do I need a website? Do I need professional headshots? And the answer was no, 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 and no. All I needed was a simple offer and the guts to reach out to people. That is literally it. Everything else comes later. And I think that is what holds so many people back. They think they need to have everything perfect before they start. They think they need a fancy website, a logo, a business card, a registered business name. None of that matters. What matters is, can you get someone to pay you for a service? That is the only thing that matters in the beginning. Everything else is just noise. So this is why I like it the most. Versus e-commerce, you need ads, you need fulfillment, you need shipping. There are so many things that have balls in the air and you want the least amount of that, especially as you are starting out. So this is why I like doing it, because you could take a skill that you have within your 9 to 5 or something you have already done and start selling that, right? That is why I like this model too, because it is not that complicated. So 1, it is very low friction. It does not cost anything to start. That is number 1. Number 2, it is scalable in any which way that you want. You could scale as a freelancer, make 10 to 20 grand a month on your own. That is awesome, right? You could scale with a full-fledged team and employees, which is also awesome. It is that is kind of cool. I am always down and a fan for that. You could scale with partners, with service partners, and different affiliate models if you really wanted to. There is just a ton of different ways you have full control versus e-commerce. It is kind of black and white. It is did you get to 100 grand a month so you can make your 20% margin or not, right? And that is it is very capped in terms of what you can actually do. And I still obviously believe I know a ton of guys who killed in e-commerce and organic drop shipping recording, and all these different models, but I am a much, much more firmer believer in the agency model to begin with. So that is kind of number two, is that you can scale, and you do not even have to scale if you really do not want to. If you really just want to keep it even simpler, you do not have to scale. You could just make 10 to 12 grand. I know a couple guys working 20 to 25 hours a week. They have a couple clients, big ticket clients, a couple small ones, and they make like 12 to 15 grand a month net after tax. And they are like, dude, I just want to do this for a couple years and then I am going to go away. Other guys are like, I want to get to 6 figures a month as fast as humanly possible. I do not care how much stress my body needs to go through. I do not care who I need to hire when I need to hire them. I just want to get to that number. This is why it is like you can benefit both ways. You do not have to be rigid or stuck in a specific revenue target like you do with other business models to actually change your life. And that is what we are all about here, right? If you watch this channel for long enough, that is all I talk about. It is like just making your first couple grand a month online, so then you could choose what you want to do. And I think this goes into like, it is not really a point. It is kind of like a side tangent point, but it is like this can get you to your first 100 grand liquid, and then you could do whatever the hell you want. That is the level of which I give you the go ahead personally. If you are like under my wing, this is what I kind of talk about in the mentorship. It is like get to 100 grand. If you really hate it, either do this or high ticket sales. Like those are your two best, quickest options to just get your hands on $100,000 liquid saved and invested as fast as you possibly can. That is the model, right? And then you could do whatever the hell you want. I know guys who did high ticket sales for a couple years, 2-3 years, stacked 100 grand after tax, and then they go and do what they actually wanted to do this whole time. One guy started a charity, another guy started some type of like give back community forum or something, and he makes a little bit of money off that, but he is like, dude, this is all I want. I just want to do this, and there is no right or wrong answer. That is why I like this. You have the leverage, right? Versus these other models, they will own you instead of you having control and you actually owning your business. Instead of the business owning you, let me tell you a quick story. A buddy of mine named Jake, he started a lead gen agency about 2 years ago. He was working a dead-end sales job, making 45 grand a year, hating every single second of it. He started reaching out to real estate agents on his lunch breaks, just sending cold emails from his phone. 6 months later, he was making 8 grand a month. He quit his job. Another year later, he was making 25 grand a month with a team of 3 virtual assistants. Now he is traveling through Southeast Asia, working maybe 15 hours a week, and he is making more money than he ever dreamed possible. And the best part, he did not need a single dollar to start. He did not take out a loan. He did not ask his parents for money. He did not max out credit cards. He just started. That is what I am talking about. So point 3, there are like a couple options here. One, maybe this should have been the first one. It is remote, right? So you could fulfill these services from anywhere. You do not have to worry about being boots on the ground anywhere because you are selling an online service. That is why I like this, right? There is a big benefit to just selling things that are already made or already repackaging them in a certain way like a service. And honestly, it is getting to a point where if you choose copywriting, if you choose funnel building, if you choose lead generation, there are a whole bunch of them. There are so many models to choose from that AI can actually do a good leg of this work for you. We are talking 70%, 60 to 70% of the fulfillment can actually be done by AI for you at this point. Like these models are getting good enough to where if you prompt them properly, they can do a lot of your client work for you, right? So that is again why I like this. And look, I know some people are going to say, but Read AI is going to kill the agency model, and I think that is completely backwards. AI is the best thing that ever happened to agency owners. Why? Because it lowers your cost of delivery, it makes you faster, it makes you more efficient. You can take on more clients without hiring more people. You can offer services that used to cost thousands of dollars for a fraction of the price. The agencies that adapt and use AI will thrive. The ones that refuse to adapt will die. Simple as that. So if you're worried about AI replacing you, do not be the person who learns how to use it to your advantage. This is point 4. This is probably going to be the final one. It is the perfect, I already said this, but the white belt beginner business model. Like it teaches you all the skills. It teaches you how to write contracts, how to process money sales and communication negotiating when a client wants to stiff arm you and say that you did not deliver on said service. It is like these all seem negative sometimes in the moment, but they teach you so much about business. They make you a better business person. I would argue any guy starting an agency does not matter for what offer, what niche, anything like that. If you start something, it is going to teach you probably a lot more than any business degree or any business school. I am probably going to get flamed in the comments for that one, but I do not care. I really firmly believe that it will teach you more than any schooling can about business. I really like you just do not understand how much you learn about service delivery and actually serving fulfillment and refunds and having to deal with difficult clients. And there are so many things that this thing taught me. And I was so nervous. I was so confused when I first started. How do you process money? I do not even know how to process a credit card. Do I take the credit card first? Do I have them process it? Do I, when they agree to my service, do I get them the contract sent right away? Do I wait a couple days? Like that is admin stuff. And then it comes to the actual work. It is like, what expectations do I set with these clients? What are they looking for essentially, right? There are so many things that if you put this into another business model, they can work, but dude, you are going to be stuck behind the 8 ball. Versus the agency, you could take things and stack them against your own pace. So you are not falling behind your waistline, right? I remember my first client, I was terrified. I had no idea what I was doing. I promised them 20 leads a month and I did not even know how to consistently generate one lead. I spent the first 2 weeks just scrambling, watching YouTube videos, reading forums, trying to figure it out. And you know what? I figured it out. I delivered those 20 leads. The client was happy. They stayed with me for 8 months, and that experience taught me more about sales marketing and service delivery than any course or degree ever could have. That is the beauty of this model. You learn by doing. You fail fast and you fix it fast, and every mistake makes you better. So I do not know. I really just, especially now, I am biased on lead gen. That is how I have made most of my money. Lead gen and appointment setting for a specific niche. How do you take what I just said and actually start something? You are going to need to learn how to do cold email, cold outreach. Okay, cold calling if you can, if you got the balls for it. That is like one of the better ways too. Cold email, cold calls. You are going to pick a general offer, go into Claude right now and prompt, hey, looking to start a marketing agency. I am just wanting help with my offer. Should I do lead gen? Should I do appointment setting? Ask it what offers you can really work with. I do lead gen and appointment setting for realtors, for example. So you can use me as an example. Say I have a buddy of mine, he does lead gen and appointment setting for realtors. I want to do it for X. Give me the A to Z playbook on starting something from scratch, from my cold email scripts, from the service delivery guide, from choosing if the niche is even the right one, because you really do not need a niche. And here's the thing that people get wrong. They think they need to find this perfect untapped niche with zero competition. That is not how it works. You do not need a unique niche. You need a niche that has money flowing through it. Real estate contractors, home services, law firms, medical practices. These are industries where people have money and they need more customers. Pick one, any one, and just start. Do not overthink it. Do not spend 2 months researching. Pick one by the end of this video and start reaching out tomorrow. That is the difference between people who make money and people who just watch videos about making money. Action plain and simple. Like AI can map out the playbook for you if you really, really wanted to. Obviously, if you want more hand-holding, if you want to actually get a firm grip on scaling to 3 to 5 grand a month, you can apply below. I do think if you are interested, or if you have already tried starting this in the past, or if you are familiar with the agency model in and of itself, you are a perfect fit for the mentorship. So I will leave that link below. We could potentially get on a call if things make sense, if your application checks out, but you can do this. I promise you, dude. It does not. You do not need to stress about the niche. You do not need to stress about selling. You also do not need to stress about selling a client, them saying yes and then you needing to scramble. It is no, we can figure this out. There is a pace to this, right? Let me give you a real simple action plan right now.